Hi, it's Laurelle and I'm here at Derry's Orchard and Nursery, and I'm going to show you how to graft. If you plant the seed of an apple, you won't get that specific apple. So if you want a Wolf River apple tree, the only way you can get that Wolf River apple tree for sure is to actually graft a piece of it onto a rootstock of another plant. So this is a type of apple whip, and it's an M26 apple whip. So the apples themselves are not particularly tasty, but this particular rootstock actually slightly dwarfs your tree. So you can get your Wolf River apple tree, but you don't need to have a 30-foot apple tree. So M26 is slightly dwarfing. It also has really good anchorage. So what we do is we cut the top off the apple tree, and I'm going to show you at about 6 to 8 inches, and I just do a hand span. And so the bottom part is actually the M26 apple. And then what I'm going to do is take the top of the current season's growth, about the width of a pencil, and you do this. This is not really the right time of year to do it, but I can show you anyway. You do this January, February. You do it when the tree is dormant, so you wouldn't have any leaves. The tree would be sleeping. The scionwood would be sleeping. This isn't going to harm the tree by me doing it. And what you do is, I'm going to put my pruners down. You take your grafting knife, and you make an angled cut, and it's much easier when this is bare root, on the top, whoops, of your apple tree, preferably not spilling all the soil. So you can see that there's an angled cut. You then take, to protect your hands, I use actually a type of washer. So my next cut that I'm going to have to do on this tree is actually a back cut. And I like to use a washer. You can use a Home Depot washer. I like this wooden washer. It's nice and light. And I put it over the top. And that helps when I do the back cut. If the knife jumps, it's going to hit the washer and not my hands. So 3/4 of the way down on the top, you do a slight back cut, maintaining your angle of the cut. And you wiggle it down. You then match this on the scionwood. It's helpful if you can get the scionwood to the same size as your rootstock. In real life, it never really happens. I often am dealing with much smaller scionwood. And I'll show you the more common one is the side veneer graft. I match that same angle, so you can see the angle. I put my washer over top to keep my fingers safe. I do the back cut, 3/4 of the way down, wiggle it back. And then we slide it in to the wood. And what we want to do, if you'll notice that there's a real difference in size. And what we want to do is we want to match the cambium layer as close as we can onto one side or the other. And sometimes you have to try it on for size. And right now, I've got a good match. And then I take my grafting tape. And again, you're doing this when it's really cold normally. And you want to keep everything cold and dormant. And when you wrap your grafting tape over top, if you have a slight size difference, you want to be really careful that you're maintaining the cambium contact on at least one side. And the cambium layer is simply the layer beneath the skin or the bark of the tree. And it's a single cell layer. And I'm going to show you by cutting
a branch.
And actually peeling it right back, you can see that there's green beneath the bark. If you use your fingernail and scratch the bark of any tree or shrub, you'll see green, fresh, bright green. And that's the cambium layer. And you want to match that when you're grafting. And then I put my little sticky grafting tape around. Make sure it's secure. Make sure there's contact on at least one of the sides. And then I want to count up 3 buds. Some people like 3, some people like 4. We're going to count up 3 buds. Now you can put a little bit of podgy glue on the top if you want, or you can leave it. And hopefully you will get a new apple whip by September. It'll start growing May, June. June, I usually remove the grafting tape. You'll get some leaves, and usually it will be a nice sized whip by September. If you want to learn about grafting, there are often grafting classes at the UBC Apple Festival. There's demonstrations. The BC Fruit Testers Association also gives you some really good information on where you can go to find some grafting demonstrations. Thanks for joining us.